How do you do, fellow kids? Did you know that playing Pot of Desires is almost like playing an abortion? I mean, fuck. Okay, so bear with me. Imagine for a second that a card with the following text exists. Banish 10 cards from the top of your deck, face down, semicolon, draw 5 cards. You can only activate one Pot of Insanity per turn. It probably will never and should never exist, but we can all agree that that would be a staple in every deck. Or so I thought, until I posted a quote-unquote funny comment on the Steve's video why Pot of Avarice is banned, pointing out a comparison he made between Pot of Avarice and Pot of Desires. And that would have been the end of it if I didn't go and see that people were arguing over Pot of Desires on my comments. And I found these two hilarious comments from this guy and I had to share them with you. I hope you enjoyed them. The first one says, I honestly wouldn't care if it drew 5 cards. I still wouldn't play it. It's just too risky. Okay, so you know what? I feel you, man. I too am scared of getting hurt. And to be honest, when I first started getting into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, everyone was discussing Desires, whether it was a Nag 9 or a +1. It took me months to finally grasp to what extent Pot of Desires was a good card. It's okay, it's cool, save space, bro. But I truly feel that draw facts should help us face our fears. Like when you're a kid and suddenly you're not afraid of the dark anymore. Because you've seen time and time again that there's nothing there. It's cool, it's called growing up and accepting that you may not always be fucking right. But jokes aside, I decided to let it pass because Pot of Desires isn't seeing that much competitive play right now. But then I ran into his follow-up comment, which made me lose my shit. I actually had to explain to my friend who doesn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Why I was laughing so hard. The comment reads, I'm completely aware of all that. Okay, so he was responding to someone, but it basically doesn't matter. I've had this argument 1,000 times, and your argument is a total logical fallacy. Sorry, I can help it. Win for a wild ride. Saying those cards were never going to reach your hand to begin with, so they don't matter, is the same thing as saying this third grader isn't reading as well as he should. We should kill him now since he will never amount to anything in life anyway. Okay, so what the fuck? You don't know that. Those cards could have ended up winning you the game every bit as much as that kid could end up being a neurosurgeon. Oh, right. The old kid who cures cancer argument. A personal favorite, I must admit. Because at the same time that it says that a person's right to live is only based on their profession, it disguises itself as a morally correct, pro-life argument. And I don't want to go too much into politics, because this is still a Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. But he's using the same argument that people who oppose abortion use on a daily basis. And I know that is a pretty hot topic right now, especially if you are American. But I'm baffled, genuinely baffled, by how these arguments, which I'm going to call the kid who cures cancer fallacy, can actually become a part of something so seemingly apolitical as Yu-Gi-Oh! Because basically for this guy it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Equivalent of getting an abortion or practicing euthanasia on the disabled. So you know kids, playing that card actually makes you a liberal commie piece of shit. Okay, so let's read the rest of the comment just for the sake of it. A bit of an extreme comparison. Oh, so he's self-aware, but you get the point. No amount of cards being unlikely to ever come into play makes it worth completely losing access to 1/4 of your deck, and certainly not just to draw 2. Like I said, even if it drew 5, it still wouldn't be worth it. Okay, so when I first read this, I actually expected him to take back that statement, given how he realized his previous exaggeration, but oh no, he's sticking by it. He says, the arguments in favor of Desires are basically the same arguments in favor of not having a deck size requirement. You are essentially saying, if I could run a 25 card deck, I totally would. Upstart Goblin? That card's for meta sheep. And for some decks, that's a completely viable strategy, but most decks would be in serious danger of decking out by turn 3. No, you see honey, there isn't such a thing as a turn 3 in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. Most meta decks will destroy you by turn 2, or scoop to win time, and most rogue strategies would benefit of drawing an extra card. Okay, so he ends his comment, and a lot of decks wouldn't function at all with so few cards. That is why Desire is a hard -9. If you didn't need those cards, wouldn't be playing them. Plain and simple. Well, plain and simple indeed. If you didn't need those 10 cards, why would you buy them in the first place? Give them to someone who wants them. I mean, for God's sake, there are children in Africa dying for those extra copies of Moki Moki. Okay, so there was another comment, I'll show it on screen, but I'll leave a link in the description so you can go check out for yourself. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I know it was more of a meme one. I still think that it's quite interesting and quite useful to go and see and dissect what someone is saying to see why they are wrong. Because these too can actually help you become better at Yu-Gi-Oh! If you did like the video, go check out my other videos and sub for more. If you have funny exchanges on YouTube or on Twitter, you can share them with me via Twitter or in the comments below. Thank you very much for making it to the end. Adios.